Using blood typing to solve a crime. A thief breaks a window of a car parked behind a residential home and steals a wallet that was left on the car's glove box. You are a forensic detective called to the crime scene. You discover that the thief cut themselves on the broken window glass. You test a sample of blood left behind by the thief. The blood is type O negative. 4 suspects are in the area and are taken in for questioning. None of them has a good alibi, and all of them have a cut forearm or hand. They offer a sample of their blood for testing. When we're testing the blood, type A blood will clump in anti-A serum. Type B will clump in anti-B serum. Type AB will clump in both anti-A serum and anti-B serum. And type O will not clump because there are no antigens on the red blood cells. Let's take a look at the lab. We have spot plates for Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, Mr. Green, and Ms. Brown. First, we're going to place a drop of the suspect's blood in each one of the wells, and then we're going to place the anti-A serum in the A well, the anti-B serum in the B well, and the anti-RH serum in the RH well. Next, we're going to stir for about 10 seconds or until we see a reaction. We already see a reaction here. We can tell that precipitate is forming, and so there is clumping for Mr. Smith with type A. Let's take a look at the results. We can see here that Mr. Smith clumps with A and RH, but not type B. Mr. Jones only clumps in type B. Mr. Green clumps in all 3, and Ms. Brown has no clumping. Let's take a look at the table for this. Mr. Smith clumps with A and RH. Mr. Jones clumps with anti-B serum. Mr. Green clumps for all 3, and Ms. Brown has no clumping. Pause the video and write down the blood types before you check out the answers. So Mr. Smith has A positive blood because he clumped with type A and RH. Mr. Jones is B negative because there was no clumping with the RH. Mr. Green clumped with A, B, and RH, so he is AB positive, and Ms. Brown had no clumping, so she is O negative. Before we answer the questions, pause the video and try and answer them yourself. Which suspect's blood matched the sample found at the crime scene? So the crime scene had type O negative, so that would be Ms. Brown. Would someone be convicted for committing a crime from blood typing alone? Explain. No, they wouldn't. There has to be evidence that they were at the scene because many people have the same blood type. If Mr. Jones needed a transfusion, what ABO types of blood could he safely receive? He could receive B negative or O negative. If Ms. Brown was serving as a donor, what ABO blood types could receive her blood? Everyone can receive her blood. She has no antigens on her red blood cells, so she is the universal donor. Which one of the suspect's blood would agglutinate or clump if given type B negative as a transfusion? Mr. Smith, who is type A, would because he has anti-B antibodies, and so would Ms. Brown. Which of the suspects could receive O positive as a transfusion? That would be anyone who is positive for the RH factor, so Mr. Smith and Mr. Green. Last question, what is the difference between an antigen and an antibody? An antigen is a protein marker or glycoprotein on the cell membrane. It is the cell's signature. An antibody is a Y-shaped protein made in response to a foreign antigen or pathogen.